Okay, so for this problem, we are going to be factoring a quadratic with leading coefficient greater than 1. There's a whole bunch of ways to factor these problems. The one thing that you do have to remember is the sign before the constant or the last term. It might have more variables, so it might not be a constant. That sign, plus or minus, will tell you whether you add or subtract. So you add if plus, subtract if minus. Now our goal is to get the middle coefficient. Add or subtract your factors. To get that middle term. So whole bunch of ways to do this. A lot of teachers, a lot of classes will use an X, which reminds us that we have to multiply to the AC. So this is A times C, and then we're adding or combining to get B. Okay, and they're lowercase letters, but I wrote capitals to this. So A times C is 3 times -2, which is a -6. A lot of times what I do is I will write my factors there. So I'm thinking 6. 6 is 1 and 6. 2 and 3. It was a minus, so this means subtract. I need to get a positive 1. So I'm not going to get there with the 1 and the 6. That's going to get me to 5 if I'm subtracting them. 3 and 2 do work. I need to go 3 minus 2, so I get the positive number. So this would be a 3 and a -2. Now, how people do this to get the parentheses, guess and check. I do know that I need to have that 3 and the 2 what I'm working with. However, a lot of people also will rewrite your problem so that that middle term is using your factors. So one way to do it is 3x squared. Rewrite the problem. I'm going to change colors briefly to that. I'm going to use my factors. So plus 3x minus 2x. This still equals that plus x. Go back to this color. And then I have the rest of my problem. And then I factor by grouping. So this will be 3x times x plus 1, because I divided out my 3x. Now, with the next group, whenever I start with a negative, I want to pull that negative out for sure. That's part of my GCF. And in this case, I can factor out a 2. So it'll be -2 x plus -2 divided by -2 is 1. So that matches. Now my parentheses should match. So I've gone from 3 terms to 4 terms, because that works a little bit better when I rewrite that middle, break up that middle term, to now 2 terms. Remember, terms are separated by pluses or minuses. Now these 2 terms have a common factor, which is the x plus 1. And then we have the 3x minus 2 is your other parenthesis. Parentheses can be in either order, but I do need to type them in. So we have 3x minus 2. Just decided to type that one first. Not really sure why, but doesn't really matter. And when I put that together, I will have it correct, hopefully, and I can check my answer. And it is correct. We're going to go on to the next problem. See if some of my things are kind of close, so I can maybe move some of my annotations. Nope, I can't. All right, so we're going to clear all my annotations, divide, clear all drawings. Remember, I'm using that last term to tell me whether I'm adding or subtracting. In this case, I will add. Oops, need a pen, that helps. So this one is add. And I need to get, this is my goal, so add to get -14. And my A and C is going to be 5 times 8, which is 40. So I need my factors of 40. They're going to add to get me to a -14. So add. Just to remind myself. So 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 3 does not go into 40 because they don't add up. The digits don't add up to 3. 4 and 10. 5 and 8. 6 doesn't go in because 3 didn't go in. 7 doesn't go in, and I'm back to 8. So those are all of my factors. Any two of them that add up to 14 are 4 and 10, but it has to be a negative 14. So it'll be a negative 4 and a negative 10. Yet again, I can put those in either order as long as the sign is correct for each term. So then rewrite my problem. I have 5x squared. And I'm going to put it in as minus 10x, just because I can. Minus 4x. And it really doesn't matter which order I do that. I will just it will end up with the same answer. You'll just, the work in the middle will look a little bit different with the different numbers. All right, then factoring, I can pull a 5x out of these two. But remember, if you can't pull anything out, you have to pull out a 1 no matter what. So just as a reminder, x minus 2. I'm going to pull out a negative 4. This will be a negative 4. And then I have x plus 2, because a negative divided by a negative is positive. Factors are going to be x minus 2 times 5x minus 4. Get to type that in. And we have x minus 2, 5x minus 4. And as long as you type it correctly, we should be good. All right, we have one more problem to do. Erase all my drawings. All right, this one, ooh, he doesn't like us with numbers. It was giving us decent numbers, and now we've got not so fun ones. So this means subtract. This means my goal is subtract to equal 11. All right, so if I write it this way, 3 times negative 14 is the same thing as 3 times negative 10 minus 4. So negative 30 minus 12, negative 42. All right, and I need to add subtract to get to 11. So 42. I'm going to do a negative to remind me to subtract. 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14, because I multiplied up there. 4 does not go in because 2 is paired with an odd number, so 4 is not going to go in. 5 does not go in because it doesn't end in a 5 or 0. 6 does because 3 and this is an even number, so it's 6 and 7. 7 is my next number, so I have them all. I am subtracting, and I have to get a positive 11. So I'm going to want 14 minus 3. I can write those in my problem either direction, so I'm going to do it a little wonky this time just so that we can see it. Maybe I won't. No. So I could write it 3y squared minus, so plus 14. It didn't change colors, but that's okay. Y minus 3y minus 14. The other way I could write it, and it will work the same exact way, I'll just have different numbers that I'm factoring out for my GCFs and my groups, minus 3y plus 14, that's a plus 14y minus 14. I could do it either way, depending on how I like it with the numbers. This might be an easy way to do it, but we're going to do it the first way that we wrote it, just because I can. So between these two, I can't pull anything out of the coefficients, but I can pull a y out of both. So it'll be y parentheses 3y plus 14. This second group, there is nothing that I can pull out of them. I do have to pull out a negative. And because there's nothing else I could pull out of them, it will just be a -1 that I'm pulling out. And that is a -1. And then I have a 3y plus 14. My parentheses, what's in common is 3y plus 14 and y minus 1. So watch your handwriting, because as you can see, mine is starting to get a little laxer, but make sure that you're careful with what you're writing and what you type in afterwards. There's nothing more frustrating than doing the problem right and having a typo and having to get extra problems. All right, so hopefully this is the last one that I have to do with this topic, and we can move on to the next topic. All right, so we will see you in the next video.